Hello, hello. Welcome to Talk About It Tuesday. We're fashionably late, as usual.
It's
And
a Talk About It
it's not my
Tuesday. We
fault
are.
this time.
It's my fault. I'll tell you in a minute.
I am Karma with Taco. No, I'm not with Talk About It Tuesday. I am with Lewis Acre Farm. I am so tired. I am so tired.
Oh
Anything's
my
liable to
gosh.
come out my mouth today.
Oh my gosh. That you just made me feel normal for right now.
And
I'm
this is my lovely co host.
I'm Glenda from Grace and Fire. Well, maybe I'm out with my chickens, but I'm a little we're having one of those days. And it's
Oh,
Tuesday.
I literally just looked at my watch while I was falling asleep, trying to stay awake, listening to a video while I was laying down, and it was 2:38, and I'm like, I really have to make myself get up. And why is my computer going dark?
Okay,
Uh-oh.
you look normal to me. You look fine.
Well, my screen just literally went black on me.
Oh no, I
It's
see
never
you
done that.
perfectly. Uh-oh.
Okay. It has never done that to me before.
Oh
Um,
no.
and there's no kittens messing with it, so we're good. Um,
Okay.
but I was so tired. I was trying to, well, I managed to get through Miss Ann's show this morning.
Oh, what a beautiful show this morning.
Oh, it was. And then I had about an hour for breakfast, and then I always, 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 always watch From Seed to Spoon at
Mm-hmm.
11 o'clock. That's Mountain Time, 1 o'clock Eastern. If you don't watch From Seed to Spoon, you need to if you're a gardener, or even if you're thinking about doing gardening, you need to watch From Seed to Spoon. They have an app as well, and it is, I swear by it. I don't
Mm,
use all the features, even though I have a free membership that I won by watching their program on Tuesdays.
yeah.
But anyway, so I watched that from 11 to 12, and I'm sitting there watching it, listening, and wanting to engage. And just before it ended, I woke up.
Oh
Yeah.
my. Aw.
So I missed the show.
Oh no.
And then I'm thinking, oh, I need to get up and go take my pills. Haven't had my pills yet, and that's about noon. And I don't remember what I did from noon to 1, but I finally made it into the bedroom where my pills are. Thank you, Ronson, for dropping that link. Um, and so I somehow made it back into the bedroom where my pills are right now. And I literally took my pills just before the show. Yeah, so I went all that time without my medication, which my medication keeps me from being in severe burning pain
Oh.
and helps me have saliva, keeps my diabetes in check,
Yeah.
and all the things. So,
Oh.
but I've laid down for a little while and I thought, well, I'll just watch some videos. And I kept falling asleep during the videos.
Oh no.
And I was surrounded by little snuggly marshmallows of varying shades of toastiness.
Aw.
So, yeah, that's my day today.
Well, my husband and I, we mowed our grass and had a little incident happen, and I would do the riding lawnmower since he's
Hmm.
visually impaired, and then he likes to push mow. So we take care of our property, but then we take care of like the section where our girls are at, our hens,
Hmm.
and so we have a riding lawnmower. So I'm riding on my little riding lawnmower, and I have a retractable garden hose, and my riding lawnmower caught it and it dropped the blade all the way down to the ground. So now I've got a nice, beautiful patch of grass I need to go back and put some seed in because I think I may have fried it. So
Ooh.
then I did some transplanting today. I had this pot with these beautiful yellow lilies in them, just like the small
Uh-huh.
little ones. And I thought, I want to split that apart. So I got 5 starts out of it and I got those all in the ground and I have a choke cherry bush, not cherry, choke berry. Sorry, I said that wrong. Choke berry bush. Aronia is the other name for
Mhm.
it. You put it in with elderberry syrup. It just adds the vitamin C and stuff. So I had one in a pot for years and years, and I thought, I want to get that out of the pot and put it in the ground. So I got that in the ground. I don't like where it's
Hey,
at, so it's going to end
that
up getting
spot
moved.
that spot that you dug up with your lawnmower would have been a perfect place. You already
I
prepared it.
know. I just took it. Oh, plonk. It was. I didn't think about that. But an odd place to put the aronia, but yeah, that could have worked. I mean, I'm gardening. And then I sat down, I listened to Miss Ann Dale today. I got in on that live, and what a beautiful live that she had a Tuesday. Very
Did.
heartfelt, very vulnerable moment. If you've not seen it, I don't want to go into it,
Incredible.
but it left me inspired, even in she's going through some dark days, but not that dark because they got the
She's got the big C.
big C. I'm stealing that
I
one. I
love
like that. The
that.
big
I know.
C. And it's Christ is what it is, not what.
Exactly.
And I just thought it was such a beautiful live. And then shortly after that, then we had a VA appointment for Sir Grace. And we are running extremely late from that appointment. So much to the point I haven't had a chance to tell Karma this. We sat with the provider so long that she had to open up the side door. We couldn't go through the main entrance. We were there well beyond the time of the VA keeping their doors open. She had to open up
Oh
the
my
side door
goodness.
to let us out. But so we had a really thorough appointment. All is well. I noticed that we have a family member in the house tonight, but all is well. Just this provider is extremely thorough and just doing her 6 month check. Actually, we hadn't seen her for a year because she left for another clinic and then she decided to come back. So we were playing catch up with her. So it
Oh,
just took a lot longer. And no, I wasn't with my chickens as Randy had mentioned. I wish I were. I wish that was a good enough excuse, but no, I wasn't with the girls. I was at the VA with Sir Grace. So, and I got home and or got in the car and first thing I did was texted Karma and said I'm going to be right on time, and I ended up being a couple minutes late. So
it wasn't my fault this
it
time.
was it was mine. It was
It's
ours.
usually me sliding into home plate.
That was me today. And then we got into traffic. There's a lot of construction on the highway. And I hit that and I'm like, oh, I'm going to be late. So, but yeah, the appointment ended up going an hour and 45 minutes when it should have been a half an hour appointment. So it was
That's nice that you have a provider willing to do that.
yeah,
We have a provider who is that kind of provider. He's a
yeah.
nurse practitioner,
So is she.
and
Yeah, she is as well. Yeah.
I love nurse practitioners.
Me
They are
too.
more thorough,
Yeah.
and honestly, I think they have more training than a doctor.
A lot of times they do. Although I had a really good doctor for primary care, and she did leave the practice. And I'm really bummed, but now I have a nurse practitioner, so I like her a lot. So for
Yeah.
myself, and
Ronson,
but
thank you for dropping Miss Ann's link.
yeah.
I
Oh yeah.
appreciate that.
Yes, thank you. Oh, well, before we get too far, I'm going to go with what Restream is showing, which I know is incorrect. But first in under Restream was Joey. Joe, fix it for
Mhm.
you. And he was saying hi to Breezy. For those who don't know, Breezy is one of my family members. So, so I know Breezy must have been first. And
Yeah.
as Randy said, I must have been out with the chickens. Um, No, Sir Grace is actually out there with making sure that they've got ice water because it's a bazillion degrees out there. So he's handling that for me. And there's my beautiful Breezy, and that is not Sir Grace. For those who know Sir Grace on a personal note, know that that's actually his dog. So Breezy stole the picture. That's not Sir Grace. I promise you. That really is a different family member. But the dog is well loved in our family. And then, hi, Randy. And then we had the beautiful Rebecca touched by arm.
Rebecca. She
I
was
was,
my guest yesterday.
I caught the end of it and well, I have a confession. I have a confession. See, I'm going to have to ask for forgiveness. Maybe you're going to give me a little fire right now. I forgot to see if you were still alive yesterday. And I went, and somebody
I
had mentioned
even
it.
reminded you.
I know,
Oh,
I know.
Rebecca,
I am,
where's your
I'm,
wet noodles, Rebecca? We got to get
I,
our wet noodles out.
I know. See, but I kept saying, please go over to Miss Karma's page and put some love on there and like it. But I was live with the hens last night because we were talking about the heat exhaustion. And I thought, surely to goodness, I'm in a good time. And I always like to check to make sure I'm not stepping on anybody. And so I'm going to ask for forgiveness, Miss Karma and Miss Rebecca. But I
All's
did send
forgiven.
everybody over to you afterwards. I'm like, please go over and support them because they're live right
Oh,
now.
you guys, if you did not catch yesterday's interview with Miss Rebecca, I have to tell you, that interview with Miss Rebecca was probably the most surprising interview that I've ever done. I learned things about Miss Rebecca that I didn't know, but there were one or two things that totally shocked me.
Mm.
So, um, if you want to be totally shocked about Miss Rebecca, go watch that interview.
Oh,
That's all I'm going
absolutely.
to say. You will be totally surprised.
That is on my
This
bucket list after
sweet,
this because I want to hear
very
more about
sweet,
this.
loving, incredible moderator, friend, supporter,
Mhm.
crocheter, giving hearted woman
Caregiver
that
to
we
her
all know and
brother.
love,
Hmm.
who
Caregiver
cares
to her
for her
brother.
brother.
Hmm.
You want to be shocked, totally surprised. Just go watch that interview with Miss Rebecca and Miss Anne. Thank you so much for
Whoa, whoa,
being
whoa. Is Miss
here.
Ann here? Oh, I haven't gone down all the way through there. Okay, hang on real quick. So Katie is here. She said hello, hello. So hello to Katie. And then
Hi,
Ronson
Katie.
was here. And Wanda is in the house. And Tiffany, hey girl, Tiffany's
Hi,
here.
Tiffany. I'm going to go back and catch your premiere that you had this afternoon. It sounds perfect for our Tuesday. Now, if it
Ex-
had been just a little bit earlier, we could have talked about it during the live today, but we don't know what the recipe was, except it's a
yeah.
smashed taco.
Well, she gives like the best recipes. One thing I
I
love about
know.
Tiffany, I don't know if that's what this live was because I was literally driving as fast as I could to get home for this particular. I was late,
All I
but
know is it's a smashed taco. So
she
y'all got to check it out for dinner.
one of the things I like about Tiffany is she shares her hauls that she gets from
Yes.
I'm thinking it's the food bank is what it's where she gets it from.
Hmm.
But you know, I love it because then she follows it up with recipes on what she's going to do with everything. And I mean,
Yeah.
listen, I'll be the first to tell you, we qualified for welfare when Sir Grace was in the military on active duty when we lived in Idaho. We
Isn't
did
that
not,
sad?
it's a true story. Um,
It's sad that our
it
military
is.
qualifies for government assistance.
Yep, we qualified, but they held the value of our car over our head. We were our car value was $100 more than what the requirement was. That's what held us back from getting
And do
welfare.
you know how many people are turned away for a buck?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe it. So we did, I always said, thank God for WIC. So we were on WIC, Women's Infant Children, for those that are not in the United States. And that, so I thank God for them. They had milk, peanut butter, beans,
Cheese,
cereal, cheese. I'm just thinking back in the day,
juice.
juice. And
I was on Wick with Ronson, so
yeah,
I
I
know all the
was,
little things they put on their cereal.
yeah, cereal.
Iron
Yeah, and
fortified
now
cereals.
you get, I think, fruit with that too now. I think that's part of it now, in some of the states. But then we had
For
WIC
those who don't know
overseas.
what WIC is Women, Infants, and Children.
Yep.
And it's a program that helps, especially like when I was with Ronson, while
Hmm.
I was pregnant, I got WIC.
Yeah.
And it helps make sure that you are getting nutritious food,
Hmm.
the items that we named,
Yeah.
so that the women who are pregnant uh, get the food that they need
The
to.
nutrition you need. Yeah.
Right, the
And
nutrition that you need,
hmm,
while you're pregnant, and then that carries on to while you are nursing. They encourage nursing,
yeah, they
but if
do.
you can't, it will provide formula,
Hmm.
um, for your infant,
Hmm.
and then it'll provide, like, Pediasure
Hmm.
for toddlers,
Hmm. Yep.
and it goes up to age 5,
Yep. And we were on
and
it till
once
my
your child
youngest was
reaches age
5.
5, they don't qualify anymore.
Right.
But it provides those basic nutritious foods
Hmm.
for the woman and her children
Yep.
up to age 5.
And we had
Uh,
WIC overseas because they have WIC overseas. And so we
okay.
even qualified for WIC overseas, which was because Sir Grace was in the military. So we got it even through the commissary, which is what we call our grocery stores. So yeah, but anyhow, back to this. So I have no, like, there's no negative with me when it comes to assistance with food. Because we have
Mhm.
done it, and I love how Tiffany shares her hauls, and then
Yeah.
turns around and shows recipes with it. And
I think it's
I wish that was
awesome.
in my life when we were raising our children, because that could have given me some ideas. So Tiffany, you know how much I love those, and my hat's always off to you for that. Let's see here. And then there's the beautiful Miss Andale. I'm here in the bushes. Love y'all. Back to the bushes now. Much to do, but you are in my ears. Well, girl, I'm going to send you a message later. It's private, about something that happened today in my life that you touched on. But I'll send it to you privately. And then the Lord tells me to forgive, I'm going to forgive her, but she needs to go and watch the replay. Okay.
Right?
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for giving me a little grace and a little bit of
Just
fire.
a little.
Just a little bit of fire. I'm going to take that and run. Just a
Just a
little.
little.
Just a little. Just a little. And then there's the beautiful Kristen. Hey,
Hey,
Kristen.
Kristen.
And then all three of my kids were on WIC. It was a godsend, right?
Yeah, yeah, it was for
Right?
me too.
I
It
mean,
was for me too.
that's how I felt about it. And then we have Gabriel waving. I
Hey,
know
Gabriel.
Restream puts it up kind of funny, but hey Gabriel, thank you for being here. Um yeah, I mean, I thank God for WIC. I mean, it was, and
Mhm.
it's funny because I think about those days, and now that I'm a grandmother, I'm always throwing food out to the mamas and the daddies that, of my littles, going, "Here, please take. Please take. Please take," cuz I
My
know.
mom
I know what it was like raising kids.
my
How hard
mom,
it was.
she knew the situation that I was in
Mhm.
when I was raising my son alone, and she would always call me up, and she'd say, "You know what? I have too much made for dinner. Do you wanna come by after work and have dinner with us?" Well, she didn't just happen to make too much for dinner. She knew what she was doing. She knew we didn't have enough food in the house.
Mhm.
Mamas are just that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
She always would call me up and say, "Hey, I have too much made for dinner and we're not going to eat it all. Do you want to eat with us? Or if they had already eaten, I have a bunch left over. Do you want this? Well, she purposely made too much because there was always enough for Ronson and I to have for at least one meal, if not two. Or she would get towards the end of their uh, shopping period, and we're getting ready to go shopping, and I've got a lot of this left over. Can you guys use it?
Right.
Well, she purposely bought too much. Or we're getting ready to go grocery shopping. Is there anything that you guys could use?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mamas do that. I find
Yeah.
myself doing that with Ronson, and I know
Yeah.
that, he's okay.
Yeah.
I know he's okay, but I find myself doing that with him because we were gifted a freezer full of beef. And
Yeah.
I mean an upright freezer stuffed full of beef. And I'm always offering him, is there anything you guys can use? Him and his provider. Can you guys use some extra beef? What do
Right.
you guys need? What can I give you? You know, and there's always times I find myself seeing what he needs, how I can help him. Even out of my need, I'm still trying to help him. And that's just how mamas are.
Right.
And
Right.
I look back, I don't have my mom anymore. And I see the ways that she provided.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 No, I mean, I hear that because, like, my mother couldn't, like, my mom was low income, and so I remember times that my grandparents, with the military, we were so far away from home, and there were times that I couldn't afford diapers. And I never told anybody about it because I was too ashamed, as a mom, and I know Sir Grace was ashamed too because he was in the military serving on active duty, and I just, it's like we should be able to make our ends meet. And to be honest with you, I mean, we were just private people, and I just
Right.
remember my grandparents sending money. I don't know why I needed to send this money to you, but I'm sending it to you. It was always in our time of need. And my grandmother's still alive, and I've had the opportunity to share that with her. Like, you have no idea how much you blessed me just because,
Right.
and then we'd also get put on the angel tree when our
Right.
kids were little because of our income. We'd get put on the angel tree, and then the First Sergeants Association, they always raise money for like ham and turkey to Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yep.
And so, I look back at those days and think, gosh, that's really what pulled us through some of those
Hmm.
difficult times. And, my mom would have done anything if she could have. I mean, I'm not saying anything. My mom's in a much
Yeah.
better place now, but my mom was barely making it herself. But we got help from other people. Um, my kids, so I volunteered when we lived in England at this thing called the Airman's Attic. My husband's in the Air Force, so the Airman's Attic, and it's a clothing giveaway. So people
Uh-huh.
donate clothes. People donate, and I would work it and help, sort things out. And it was for those, under a certain rank, which we qualified for, but I'd also work it as a volunteer. But that's how I clothed my kids. I mean,
Hmm.
we just I mean, we were so poor, we couldn't afford the R is what I always say, but there were things in place I think God had, to help us get through some of those difficult times in life, and I'm so grateful for it. And then my mother-in-law, I mean, she would send, some of she just would send things for my kids too. It blessed them too. So, yeah. I do have a
Yeah.
wonderful big brother. Hey, Scott. That's my big brother. I always wanted a big brother, and if I could pick a big brother, that would be him in a heartbeat. And
Yeah.
there's a song I live by because I have given so much. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, these are just, I can say I know what it's like to live on those difficult times. And I'm watching my two of my kiddos raise children. And I just, those memories of like, I remember not
Mhm.
being able to have cute brand new clothes for my kiddos, or like wondering where their next meal was going to come from. And it's always like, please take what I got, open it up. I'm in a different position now in life, not that money's rolling in, but like I garden and I preserve,
Right.
and I have chickens, so we have eggs. So I'm always going, take, take,
And
take.
it's a
Go
good
out to the
feeling to
garden.
be a blessing.
Yeah, because I know what that's like. I've
Yeah.
walked it. I lived. We couldn't have gardens where I lived at. We didn't have chickens. Although I think that would have been a cute little thing on a military installation, have all these chickens running around.
Yeah.
But but no, I mean it's I got into gardening, something for myself as soon as I could. I started with a 5 gallon bucket, a Lowe's bucket, which you should really use the food grade. Don't go buy the Lowe's bucket, get a food grade bucket. Um,
Yeah.
but I put a cherry tomato plant in it and I was successful. And that was in 2012. And from there on, I've always had a garden. And so during those summer months, I enjoy, please take, please take. And I tell my neighbors, if you need some tomatoes or bell peppers or whatever, don't go to the grocery store. Just walk into the garden and help yourself. I love being able to do that. Oh, the beautiful Linda Peterson's here. Hey, Linda, thank you
And
for being here. Yeah, so I mean, but I think there should be no shame in, if you need food assistance, there should be no shame.
exactly.
No
What
shame.
any kind of assistance. If you need help, you need help. Why
Yeah,
is it shameful?
I don't understand it. The stigma needs to
You
break,
know,
because that's what it is. It's
I
a
think
stigma.
it's I think it's time to tear down those walls. I think it's
Mhm.
time to tear down the barriers between the haves and the have-nots.
Exactly.
We're
Exactly.
no different. We all bleed red when we get cut.
Yeah,
We all, we all put our pants on the same way, one
right.
leg at a time.
Right.
There is no difference between us, except for some of us struggle
Yeah. Yeah.
and some of us need a little bit of help. Now,
Yeah.
I will say this, there are those who take advantage of it.
And I think that's where the problem's at, is the advantage.
Exactly.
That's where it's at. But when people are genuinely struggling, I mean, it's shame. You feel shame. I mean, or at least I did, you know,
We shouldn't feel
but
shamed.
I know how I felt. Yeah, you shouldn't feel that way, but I know how I felt once upon a time.
Right. And I
I've walked
I too
those.
have gone through that. We should
Yeah.
not we should not be ashamed to admit, hey, I'm doing the best I can and I need help. I'm
Hmm.
doing everything that I personally can do to meet my needs, but I need help. I'm not
Yeah.
asking for a hand out. I'm asking for a hand up.
Yeah.
I need help.
Yeah. Yeah.
But too
Yeah.
many people are out there on the street corners. We have a real problem. They've been cracking down. Sorry, excuse me. Sitting on the edge of the bed and my feet barely reach the floor.
It's like a
Um,
little kid hanging with the feet swinging.
Pretty much. But well, hi, Mama.
Hey,
My
real
little
quick.
Bianca has grown up.
Hi, Bianca. Hey, Kevin.
But hi, Kevin. Um, I forgot what I was saying now. But we have a problem here, and they've been cracking down real big time. And I'm sure it's everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But you do not give money or anything to your street corner panhandlers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
we have that
it
issue.
is a network. There is a proven network of panhandlers. And if you had the patience and the time to observe, you could literally watch. They will use the same exact sign, the same exact milk crate, chairs, whatever. They have actually arrested a family who put their children out there
Mm-hmm.
on the curb while they sit back in the shade. And when they're all done, they go get in a brand spanking new minivan and drive off to another corner and go through the same routine. And then
Yeah.
they put the milk crate off in a bush, and then pretty soon here comes the next person. And then when they've worked their shift on the corner, they put it back in the corner, and they have ways of leaving little signs. You hear about the Underground Railroad, how they had
Mm-hmm.
symbols
Mm-hmm.
and certain little colors that they would have on fence posts and gates and whatever to indicate whether it was a friendly home or an unfriendly home or which direction to go.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the panhandlers have symbols that they use to indicate if it's a friendly corner or what tricks working for the day, or and you can observe them
Mm-hmm.
working the corner, putting their tools back in the bushes, and walking and getting into a brand spanking new fancy car. And I'm talking top of the line, um, like a Lincoln
Yep.
or um, one of the most expensive cars.
Yeah.
It is a lucrative business model to go and panhandle.
It is. It really is. It's we have the problem here in Louisville as well. And there was a guy that made the news and he was in a wheelchair and then he'd act like he was mentally, socially disabled. And then also physically because of the wheelchair. And then he'd get up and he'd walk and he just sounded like you and I and would walk the streets just fine.
Mm-hmm.
And he was panhandling and they arrested him and then he went back to doing it again and they arrested him again and then he went back to panhandling, so they're looking for him again because I mean he's quite the frequent flyer. And it's not the same as somebody who actually is homeless that they have nowhere to
Right,
go, but it so
right.
I want to make a big huge distinction
Oh,
between
you
the
can't
two.
trust that, Linda. You cannot
No.
trust that because they have their costume. They
Yeah.
walk, they go down to the thrift store, they find the rattiest clothes, they
Yeah, they
dirty
do.
themselves up, they put their costume, they put their uniform on
That's
before
what
they
this
go to
guy
work.
did. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah.
I am not disparaging those people who truly,
Right. That's a
truly have a
difference.
need.
Yeah, that's a
This
difference.
is a system. This is a
Yeah,
network of people who are out there working the streets.
yeah. I don't give them anything. If I'm going to do it, I'll tell you who is a good one to, if you want to donate to, is Gail Southern Living. Her sister actually was homeless
Hmm.
and she has, I'm trying to think who she was on with. She eloquently described the difference between a panhandler and someone who truly was homeless. Her sister was homeless. I'm going to butcher the story. I'm going to send you to Gail Southern Living just because there is a huge difference and she does a better job of explaining, but her sister died and they had no idea that she was living on the streets, truly homeless. And so Gail started a homeless ministry where her and her mom actually, because they know where the actual homeless people are at who need a hand up, not a hand out, but a hand up. And so she takes things straight to them directly. The panhandlers situation makes the ones that are homeless look bad too, the truly homeless.
Mhm.
But you're right about there is a lucrative business that is right in front of you, and they do wear their costumes because we have this problem in Louisville too, which is sad. I thank God my son and grandson was homeless for 10 months based on the fact they had a decent car. Yeah, not one person asked, "Why don't you sell your car and find somewhere to go?" No, that's not what she's talking. Yeah, no, I mean,
No,
that's different. We're
no.
talking about the actual there is a
Yeah, this is something totally
business.
different. I know that
Yeah.
there are people who become homeless while they have nice things, and that's not what I'm talking about at
Thank
all.
Here we go. She's going to help me out with this. Her sister was homeless in Colorado, and she was walking down back to her tent when her book bag to have her Bible in it. She had just gotten done volunteering at a food pantry, and I know a woman didn't see her and hit her and killed her sister. Niecy knows the story. Yes, this is Niecy's sister-in-law, Gail. See her, and he accidentally hit her sister with her car, and she passed away in the hospital. Yeah,
Oh, that's good.
that is Gail's sister-in-law, Niecy. And Niecy knows the story on a personal note. But Gail did an interview. Niecy, I don't know if you remember who it was with, but she did an interview where she eloquently described the difference between being homeless and being a panhandler in this lucrative business. And I know that it frustrates Gail to pieces with the panhandlers because I've heard her talk about it because
Yeah,
her sister was someone who really needed help and needed, you know, she just truly, genuinely was homeless, genuinely.
right.
Um, so but it frustrates Gail to no end with the panhandler situation. But it is a
Yeah,
problem. I mean, we're
it
seeing it in
is.
Louisville too, and it is a
It makes
lucrative business.
it hard to be able to help the ones who truly do need the help because it
Yeah.
makes it very difficult when you have people who are in the business
Hmm.
of panhandling,
Yeah.
disguising themselves, actually going and
Hmm.
putting on their costume,
Right.
and they catch you when you're at a stop sign. They
Yeah.
catch you at a stoplight.
Yeah.
Um, and you don't have time. They're preying on your sympathies,
Hmm.
and you don't have time to sit there and observe every little thing, and they know how to work it.
Yeah.
You don't have time to sit there and observe
And they know
everything.
that. They know that too.
They know that exactly. And so you can't look around you and find out where their car is,
No.
what they have with them, if they're a panhandler or if they're truly homeless,
Mm-hmm.
to know whether or not they're safe to help
Mm-hmm.
or if they're just doing it as a business.
Yeah, that's the hard part of that one. It's kind of like,
It is.
we talked about the service dog industry. I don't mean to like liken it to that, but it's the same thing where people will slap a vest on a dog and go out. And yet these animals they're highly trained are like no different than a wheelchair or a walker, but people will go out and slap a vest on because they want their dog with them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There are good and bad people everywhere and with every topic, and it's frustrating that people can be so dishonest. That's what but then I have to sit back and go, okay, Lord, I'm putting those people in your hands, the ones that are being dishonest. I'm like,
Yeah,
you are the better judge of this, and you will handle this so much better than what I can, because um I know I'm not handling it correctly. So the state of Georgia, where he is at, has been the best ever system I've seen because the time homeless ended. They had my two in a home of their own. He's working grants. There are such
that's good.
great resources out there. I know that um, the Veterans Affairs has a really good one for the homeless vets. Um, so I know that there's just a lot of really good resources everywhere. Oh, now it's dark. There we go. Hi, sweetheart. Aw.
It's JoJo, Idaho Joe.
Aw. Hi, sweetie. They're all getting so big.
Oh, I know it. I
Aw.
know it. They're all old enough to be spayed and neutered now.
Yay.
But I just had to spend a whole lot of money on vet bills
Mm,
last week. So I
wow.
don't have the money to do it.
That's right. Exactly. Yes. Yeah. And I've sent stuff a while ago, not anything recent, but anonymously to Gail. I mean, it's been a while, but yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that because she
Yeah.
and her mother go straight out. They know where to go and take it directly, and they do like little Ziploc bags with different little things in it,
Hmm.
and I think it's wonderful is to
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But anyhow,
Yeah.
well, on to a lighter topic.
Yes.
So we had Sir Grace's birthday this over the weekend,
Yes. Yes.
and Sir
I
Grace
want to know how surprised he was.
not.
You're kidding.
No, he got in and he heard a conversation between me and Scott and he figured it out. Little
Oh,
stinker.
no.
So he only knew for about 2 weeks, is what he said. He said about 2 weeks. I said, okay, good, because I planned this thing back in March. So you didn't know the whole time. And then he did tell me, he said, I didn't know you had invited my dad. And he was hoping I had invited his dad, but he didn't know. He knew his sister and her
Oh.
boyfriend, but he didn't know about his dad. So when he saw his dad, that just made his day.
Oh,
That just made his
good.
day. And so he didn't know about the birthday party either. He just knew that I had invited this is what he said. I knew you invited my sister to come in for the weekend. That's all he knew. So he didn't know about the party. He didn't know that I had invited his dad. So there were some elements, and he didn't know I started back in March. So
Well,
before
it
my
wasn't a
birthday.
total bomb.
It wasn't a total bomb, but it was nice. It was a big milestone birthday for him.
Yeah.
And so the first day we went to a local U-Pick winery and a U-Pick garden, or not garden, but farm. And it's my sister-in-law's favorite place to go. They have the best homemade breads,
Uh-huh.
and they have a jalapeno bread. So she's like, we're gonna go get some breads. She can't eat them, but her family can, and so can her boyfriend. She remembered how good they were. She is gluten intolerance,
Oh,
but
okay.
so anyhow, but we did go to the winery and taste tested some wines. I had to like tell them half, half, and we got like 8 samples is what they give you, 8, and then they were like, "Well, we'll throw in one more, so it's 9." And I'm like, "Oh, that's a lot of that's a lot of wine." So I kept telling them, just like halves it, like gives me halves of it. And I tapped out after 6 samples of halves samples. I'm like, okay, I'm done. And then Sir Grace got to try some of the bourbon that they
Uh-huh.
make, and it's aged in a Japanese maple barrel,
Ooh.
and it's got like a deeper flavor. So they gave him that for free since it was his birthday. We actually went on his
Oh,
birthday. And
neat.
so yeah, then we all had just a relaxing lunch at the farm. Just and sat and just enjoyed one another. And then we had a 70s themed birthday.
Oh my gosh.
Themed. So
Pictures?
yes, lots of pictures. People dressed up in their close to the 70s outfits that you could wear. But it was only really, really hot, so I had to take my vest off. I had a like a boho vest over a dress,
Uh-huh.
and I'm like, I'm too hot. Get rid of this thing. And we invited the whole family, so everybody came in that's local here. And so we just sat back and enjoyed one another's company, saying happy birthday to him. um, we had a big barbecue. And so it was, please bring your side dishes. And my oldest brought desserts, which my mom, I don't know if my mom's in here, but we were talking earlier today about her desserts.
Uh-huh.
My daughter took one of my recipes and upscaled it. So it's a cherry chocolate trifle, a cherry chocolate
Okay.
almond trifle, but I don't know what she did to it, but she makes it taste better. So
So
my mom,
basically, Black Forest cake in a trifle.
well, it's with brownies, but yeah, it's with brownies. But she did
Okay.
something to it, and it just like took it to the next level. And then my mom was like, "Did you get any of her peanut butter pie?" And I'm like, "No." And she's like, Glenda, Glenda, that was off the charts. She said she could have eaten the whole thing by herself. She said it was that
Oh,
good. And
wow.
then my bonus daughter made a cheese ball, and I only got 2 bites of it. 2, because
Oh my gosh.
everybody and their brother was eating on it. And Sir Grace got some. He loved it too. And I looked at her and I said, the next time you do this cheese ball, I need you to triple however you made it. She goes, I made it double. I said, okay, now it's going to be 6 times the amount. And I will send you money to pay for the ingredients because I got 2 bites of it. That's all I got. I got like a taste test of it. And I missed
That's
out
crazy.
on the peanut butter pie. Oh, I did try her my daughter back to my daughter. I did try her trifle the next day. I couldn't eat it the same day because it was just too much food for me. But I did try. I had a couple bites of it, and oh, it's so good. It's so good. So anyhow, then we had trivia, and it was funny because, hi sweetheart, it
It's
was,
your Mini.
I was gonna say it looks like Minnie. She looks just like Faith. Hi, Minnie.
I try to
Um,
make sure you get to see her every time.
I think she looks just like my Faith girl. I seriously, I gotta find that picture and send it to you. But anyhow, so we did trivia and no prizes, but I said everybody can have bragging rights. And I thought for sure it'd be the older generation because there was things that topics about music, about, how much money would it cost to buy gold? And we had movie trivia and who, just like all things 70s, all things
Right.
70s, right? You think the older generation would have won it? It was my kids' generation that took the prize. They get the
Wow.
bragging rights. They paid more attention to the 70s than what? The older generation
Wow.
living through it. Yeah, so there are some bragging rights
Interesting.
going on. There's some bragging rights. I mean, you know, if the older generation comes in and goes, "You youngins don't know anything about the 70s," I'm gonna be like, "No, wait a minute. At Sir Grace's birthday party, they earned those rights, those bragging rights." So anyhow, but it was just a wonderful weekend. We just slowed down. So Saturday night was the actual party.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, we had everybody here. I've invited Trip from Trip Up the Mountain. That's the name of his YouTube channel. I
Uh-huh.
invited him over, and he was the only friend that was there. Everybody else was family. But I consider Trip family, so he gets the
I was just going to
adopted.
say, but isn't he family?
He is family. He's close family, and I wish Scott would have been there because he's my big brother, and then we really would have had everybody family. but but anyhow, but it was quite like we filled the street with people parking up and down, and I don't know. I just enjoyed it. I just love having the family around, and so does Sir Grace, and just to keep things simple. and to slow down, and just and
Yeah.
soak in one another. And so then we got to spend one more day with the family, and they went on home from where his family's all from. So yeah, he enjoyed it. He said to me, he said that was the best birthday I had
Oh,
had, and he was just so grateful, and just
that's
really
so
soaked in his
cool.
sister and his dad. Yeah, we didn't invite his brother because it's a little bit too far, but I know that he wished him a happy birthday. Um, but yeah, we had them in
Now,
town.
curious minds want to know,
Yeah,
uh, did Sir Grace approve of the boyfriend?
yes, he's a keeper.
Awesome.
He's a keeper. Yeah, yeah. And in fact, I told that to her face. And I said, I love your boyfriend. He's family. He's family. He ain't going
That's
nowhere." And Sir
awesome.
Grace said the same thing. So good guy. Yeah,
Awesome.
just to see the two of them interact was a lot of fun too for the both of us. So yeah, we approve. Two thumbs up. Now we're just waiting for a marriage proposal. We've already given the blessing here. I mean, that's where we feel at. It's like, come on now, bud. Now don't be shy. She's a good one, and you're a good one, and we like you. Although I don't know, maybe I'm a little bit crazy with my chickens. I don't know what he thinks of me with my chickens. I had the conversation. It was like, oh, another crazy chicken lady. I'm like,
So
oh
what you
well.
needed to have said is, okay, you've gotten the seal of approval. Now put a ring on it.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, I should have just been out there doing the dance, the Beyonce thing. Put a ring on it. Put your hands up. So yeah, I should have done that. That would have like sealed the deal right for my sister-in-law. No, we're not crazy. We're just dancing. Get that ring on there. But no, they'll take their
Oh,
time. I mean, no rush whatsoever. But yeah, it
right.
it it was good though to be with them and just soak them in. And it's been a couple of years, and Sir Grace has been telling me, I just want to go visit my family. I'm like, honey, we got a cruise to go on. I got to save money. The whole time in back of my head, I'm like, just hang in there. Just hang in there. We're almost there. We're
Yeah.
almost there. You'll be able to see them in no time. They're coming. They're
Now,
coming.
I just want to know this here too.
Yeah.
You and I have had little private whispery conversations about this party.
Yeah,
Did
we
he
have.
ever overhear any of our conversations?
Nope. Nope. It was specifically the one between me and Scott, and he lurked, and shame on him. Hey, Lori, shame on him
Lord.
for lurking. Shame on him. He knows better than lurking. Hey, Troy. But
Now, you know what I would do to Ronson, um, because, when you're a single parent and you're barely scraping by, any
mm,
present you get, that's a treasure.
it is. It
So,
is.
what I told him when he would go snooping, I
Mm-hmm.
said, if you go snooping and you find one of your presents, then you just don't get that present. I'm giving it to somebody else. So, uh, if he starts lurking, well, then he doesn't get what he
He doesn't get his
overhears.
sister or his daddy anymore. No, I was just teasing. Speaking of presents, I hope it's okay that I'm sharing, but he got a really cool gift that I thought was so thoughtful. So, Sir Grace wants to understand the Bible in Hebrew.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, and to understand like the translation. And
yeah.
Trip Up the Mountain gave him 3 books, and it's the Hebrew translation for the Bible. And so that way he can go back, it's a study guide, and he can go back and just really sit through the Bible and then kind of look it up through the Hebrew text and kind of understand it from that time period a little bit more on a
That would
deeper
be
level.
so awesome to have.
Yeah.
Because I've been doing the thoughts for Thursday, which I still need to record this week. So I was going to do it today and I couldn't stay awake. But
Yeah.
I digress.
Yeah. It's okay.
But the when you're doing the study of the names of God, you've got to you've got to know how to say the names of God in Hebrew,
Yeah.
and then you've got to know the translation and
Hmm.
be able to put it into English terms and
Yeah.
understand exactly what the intent of it is. In fact,
Hmm.
there was one chapter where it was discussing slaves,
Hmm.
but I would have to go back and reread it to get the full concept of it. But you have to understand, first of all, what the name is.
Hmm.
Then you have to understand the what the concept is behind that terminology in that time period,
Yeah.
and then translate it to
Hmm.
put it into terms that would be understandable and relatable to today's society.
Yeah.
When you're talking slaves in biblical time period, the the master or
Hmm.
the slave holder
Hmm.
was responsible for the well-being,
Hmm.
not only in making sure that they had food and clothing, but that they were well provided for
Yeah.
medically, that they were, I mean, everything. They were
Every little
responsible
nitnoid
for their
thing.
happiness, that for
Hmm.
the, I mean, they were treated extremely well,
Hmm.
because if that slave was injured, um, unhealthy, um, anything bad happened to that slave, first of all, their value went down,
Hmm.
but also they could no longer perform their
Their duties.
necessary duties,
Hmm.
and it was detrimental to the person who owned the slave to have them in poor condition. So I'm not explaining it properly right now,
No, but I
but
think what you're trying to say, it helps to have that Hebrew translation to
it
understand the
does.
context where
And to
we've lost it through
yeah,
the.
you need to understand the society at the
Mhm,
time of the writing
mhm,
to be able to put it into perspective for today's
mhm,
understanding. It's
mhm.
not
No,
the slaves in Hebrew biblical times is not the same kind of slave experience that the slaves went through
right,
in our history.
right, right, right.
It's not the same thing.
No, no.
And you've got to be able to understand that and separate the two. Um, and to be able to understand that in the Hebrew
Yeah.
would be so, so awesome. It would help you understand the Bible so much better.
Yeah, I was really excited whenever I saw those books because he had been talking about this for so long. He wants to understand the Bible in Hebrew. And he'd had this conversation. Trip's a Christian man and a really nice guy. If you've not ever checked out Trip Up the Mountain, I highly recommend it. He's open about it. He has autism and he has MS, and he also does marathons. I mean, he's a very inspirational guy to start with. So, and God really
Mhm.
placed him in our lives. Um, for a lot more reasons than what I've ever shared on YouTube, but just he's an incredible, incredible man. And he and Sir Grace are like really close, and so they have been talking about the Bible. And I mean, what a really thoughtful gift was these books in Hebrew, so he can sit and study the Bible a little bit more in
Yeah.
depth, which has been a dream of his. And so, yeah, though they're going to get well loved. I can tell you that one. And because that was like something even I don't know. Trip did one up on me. I did the party. I got everybody together. I got his
Yeah,
dad in. Trip got him what he actually wanted. And I think that just
that's
it
cool.
blessed me to watch him open his present in front of everybody. And it just, I don't know. He's so excited to get in there and study it. So it'll be interesting. I'm gonna sit and I might look at it too myself because I'm like, hey, I want to learn some things too. I think that's the
Right.
way when you can go back and get that translation. I mean, that makes a world of a difference. And the English language is constantly changing too.
It
So
is.
we lose it just in general. I mean, even in the last, what, 25, 50 years, we've lost so many words in translation and meanings have changed. And so to
Exactly.
think about it from the biblical times, you really do want to read it through Hebrew and understand what it actually is about. So yeah, for sure. Hey, real quick, I just saw a couple of people pop in. So I saw Kendra
Okay.
come in. Hey, Kendra.
Hey, Kendra. So happy you're here.
And then the beautiful Ginger from Not From Nothing
Happy
Homestead.
birthday,
Happy
Ginger.
birthday. We were both talking about the chicken earrings, and I'm telling you, girl, I put my name in it so I could win it for you for your birthday. I was like, oh, let's get those chicken earrings for Ginger earlier today. And then our treasured home is in the
Hey,
house. Hey,
Nancy.
hey, Nancy. And then let's see, making sure I'm not missing anybody. Oh, we have a question for you. Karma, is there a kitten playing behind you?
Yes. Yes, that's why I scooted over to the side and moved my computer a little bit. There's this bowl that I brought into the bedroom so because I thought that it would be easier to weigh the kittens, but it's just slightly too big of a bottom for my scale. And they love playing in it, and that's what's making all the noise in the background. And she was up there playing in the bowl, so I thought that you guys might enjoy watching that.
That's so sweet. That is so sweet.
Oh,
Aw.
anyway. Well, hey, did anybody notice my shirt?
I did. You got the
Yeah.
first one of the Gorilla.
Yes.
Go dash Rilla shirt.
Yeah.
I
I
love
won
it.
this on Lazy Days Ahead on the last
Oh.
Saturday that they were live. And it came in the mail the other day. And I was so excited. And I just thought I would show it off. It is really, really nice. I love the design. I have
Aw.
it says Gorilla Lazy Days Ahead. Got the gorilla hanging out the front, and the
Oh.
license plate is LDA. There you go.
Lazy days ahead. Oh, there we go. I recognize that shirt.
And
Yeah.
then LDA on the side, and then down here on the bottom.
Oh, for the Texas Star.
Yeah.
I love
So,
that. And it's got the
yeah.
Saguaros in the background.
Right.
What else? Oh, lift it up just a little tiny bit. Let me see, because it's kind of at the bottom. There's the
But
Saguaros, and what else did they have on there?
it's just like grass or something down
Oh,
here.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, oh, Cynthia.
Yeah.
Hey, Cynthia. Thank you for
Hi,
being
Cynthia.
here. So glad she's here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that design. I think that's such a good name for the RV.
I do
Gorilla.
too.
I thought that was hysterical.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Oh, get that out of your mouth. You don't need that.
uh-oh. But I think that's fun to have a neat, name for the RV and something
Yeah.
different. I didn't think about people naming their RVs until I saw that. And I thought, what a good
I
idea.
No, no, no. You guys, you finally brought it back. Thank you. But you guys stopped getting into stuff.
Oh.
Junior brought back Chris's collar that he had to have taken off for a while.
Well, just so you
The
know, here it is like a little child. Hey, looky, looky, look what I got for you. Whether or
nice
not you knew you
toy.
needed it, right?
This little guy here, this is Chris.
Aw.
He has been extremely ill. All of them have been extremely ill all last week.
How are they doing now?
Well, I haven't been able to tell. Um, um, some of them are still battling a little bit of soupy bottom,
Mm.
but there's no vomiting anymore.
Oh, good.
And they have all, I believe, stopped losing weight.
Good.
Chris was extremely ill. He went to the vet twice last week. And I believe all of China's kittens have gotten, ow! Those are my feet.
Oh my.
Yeah. Um, all of China's kittens have gotten past the rattly lungs. The antibiotic that they were all on for 5 days took care of the rattly lungs. So got rid of that as well as pretty much the nausea, vomiting, and pretty much most of the diarrhea. But every time I see them all rushing to the litter pan, I'm on poopy watch, which is
Yeah.
loads of fun. Yay. Standing there and watching and waiting and hoping to catch a glimpse before they cover it up, you know.
They need a bidet.
Yay, good
They
for
need a
you. You
they
have a
need a
solid
bidet
poo.
or a bidet, just a white, sit down and psh. You know how Jesse and I and Scott, we all talk about our bidets. You need a bidet for the chicken or for your kitty cats.
Yeah. Well, but you got to be able to see whether or not it's liquid, semi-liquid, semi-solid, or solid
Yeah.
to know their condition, how well they're
Yeah.
recovering.
Yeah.
Some of them are solid again.
Good.
Some of them were soupy, went solid, went back to soupy.
Okay.
So, but the ones that were the most ill were Chris, Joe. Joe really, really, really lost weight. I mean, when you'd go to pick him up, all you felt were bones.
Oh my.
He was really sick. But he was
Yeah.
still running, still playing, still
Good.
eating, drinking, you
Good.
know, all the things. Chris quit eating.
Mm.
All he was doing was nursing. At this age, nursing is has very little nutritional value.
Mhm.
And then it came to a point. I took him to the vet Monday when I got antibiotics for everybody,
Mhm.
and he got a shot, and they've all been dewormed. And so I got him a shot of antibiotic that day, and then he did the antibiotic for the rest of the time, and they're on probiotics. Let's see, no, they got probiotics Friday. Long week.
Yeah.
But then he was just going downhill. He was not doing well at all, and I couldn't get him to eat. And then Friday, I took him back to the vet, and they had to give him fluids, subcutaneous fluids. And when they did that, they gave him a long acting antibiotic and they gave him an appetite stimulant. And they tried to give him some slurry food, and he wouldn't take it.
Oh man.
The vet gave me a talk that day and said, we do everything we can, and sometimes they just don't make it. And I said, I'm fighting for this little guy. He's going to make it. And by the next day, he was devouring food. He was coming and begging me for wet food multiple times a day.
Mm-mm-mm.
And then it
That's
was he
awesome.
wouldn't eat anything but wet food and
Okay.
begging for food multiple times a day. And I finally have him back to eating solid food. So,
Good. 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 So he's making a
yeah,
full recovery.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's awesome. That
yeah,
is, I'm so glad to hear that because that's kind of scary when they're
yeah.
little like that.
Yeah, well, one 24-hour period of diarrhea can kill a kitten.
Mm-hmm. It sure can. It
So,
sure can. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm glad. Let's see.
Troy, welcome in.
I say Troy's in the house. Says, Sis
Yeah.
Glenda, your earrings remind me of spending time with my grandma for hours, and she told me stories and crocheted the same pattern to make tablecloths.
That's so cool.
Oh,
They do look like some doilies I've made.
they do. Well, I have to tell you where I got these from. Miss Carlene Vassar, or Vasseur, as Jesse likes to say, gave these to me at the meetup
Oh.
um back last year, and she crocheted these, and I love them. These are actually ones that I have a different color too. I bought a pair and then I got it. I can't remember which one I paid for and which one I she gave me, because she gave everybody a free pair, and then I'm like, I want to buy a second pair. So
They're
anyhow, I
beautiful.
love them. She did a good job, and
They're thread.
they're well, I would say they're stiff too. I don't know if she used a little
Right,
bit of starch in it,
right.
but they're I get a lot of compliments on it. I'm like, "Oh, thank you, but I'll tell you, I got them from someone. They're handmade. I didn't. They're not store bought or anything. They're just. I mean, I'll take one out, but just absolutely
I
just
can attest
gorgeous.
I can attest to how difficult those can be to make, especially on that scale.
Yeah, Carlene, she's really good. She also made some washcloths that she gave everybody, and they were like that big. And they're some of my favorite washcloths that I love all crocheted, but when I say favorite, I'm including store bought. So I love the homemade a little bit better. Rebecca makes some that I've got, and I still use them, the little scrubbies. And I
Uh-huh.
love those. And my sister will knit some too, and then she puts the netting, hang on.
Bless you.
Goodness. It's like right here. Anyhow, she puts like that scrubby in it, and you can really wash your dishes good. And then
The
Rebecca's I
netting?
like for the face because it's real
Yes.
soft. Yeah. Yeah.
Logan loves those scrubbies,
Yeah.
Rebecca's scrubbies, and will actually use them
Hmm.
in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And I love the scrubbies for my face. My skin is really sensitive, and sometimes I can't use just a regular washcloth. Um, it agitates my skin. But those scrubbies they're just perfect and they're the right size. They're
Oh
easy to
yeah.
hold on to. And you when you're washing your face, you always do a circular motion.
Yeah.
And they're easy to get around, and you're not covering your whole face
Nope.
and having to fight excess material,
Yep.
and they're
Great to
just
get the makeup
perfect.
off too. Like they're perfect for getting makeup off. And then Ginger, I'm assuming it was Ginger who made it. I know at least she sent it to me, but for some reason I was thinking it was Megan that helped, but I could be totally wrong. But I have a chicken purse that I got from
Oh,
Ginger. And let me tell you, that chicken purse actually isn't mine anymore. Um, my little one, my granddaughter, loves it. Last fall, we took her to a nursing home and we went trick or treating in a nursing home, which is like the best place to go for a toddler. I wish I'd thought about
yes,
this when my kids were little. It's good for the little ones and it's good for the residents.
it
Well,
is.
she was dressed up as a fire chief because that's what she wanted to be, and my youngest forgot her little bucket,
Uh-huh.
for her candy. And I said, firemen. Oh, that was my ha. Oh, okay. That was you who did it. Okay, I don't know why I was thinking it was you and Megan, but it was you. Okay, so I'm telling the story about the chicken first. So anyhow, firemen rescue cats. No offense towards kitty cats, but firemen rescue cats. Fire women rescue chickens. So I had to tie a little knot on it because she's a little thing. And so she had her little firewoman outfit on, and it had her name, and it said fire chief. And so we went through the nursing home, and that was her candy bucket. And let me tell you how many people stopped her for that, because they loved that little chicken purse, and she was just rocking it. And I told all the residents that firemen rescue cats, fire women rescue chicken. She's got her little rescue chicken, and she's a crazy chicken girl because this Gigi may have turned her into a crazy chicken girl. But now that when she comes over, it gets loved, and she puts that on and she'll stuff her toys in there. So it is super well loved. But that's another handmade, homemade gift that, I mean, it's so loved. I see what's going on in the background. Where's my candy? Where's my candy? She's talking about firemen rescuing cats. Where's my candy at?
Do this all the time. And even at night, they'll get in there and they just start just scratching. There's nothing in there. They just scratch.
Exactly. Exactly. That is the truth. Fire ladies love the chickens, and she does. She's a crazy chicken lady. And let me tell you, like, it was like the best place to go because she didn't get too much candy, but that little bag was overfilling. And I had to put some in my purse because the older people wanted to keep giving her candy because they thought she was the cutest little firewoman with her chicken bag. And I got pictures of her, and maybe someday I'll show you Ginger. I'm not gonna release her picture, so I'll have to do it in person. But I have the pictures and the videos, and it was so sweet. There was a real fire chief. He had retired. Of course, and he saw her, and I got a picture of him and her together. He loved her little outfit, and he's like, "That's right," with the chickens, and it was just cute. She was so proud wearing that and showing people the little bag. So yeah, we love that purse. It's so cute. So now the next time like if I can find somebody I think that does something chickens, I'm gonna say make it for a little one because I know my little one's gonna end up stealing it from her Gigi. That's just the way she rolls. Oh, and we got better. I've shared this in the past. She used to just dump the chicken treats and just go, here you go. Now she's throwing it, and the girls are so happy. So we have now aged up or moved up in the world. She's throwing her chicken treats out now. So proud of my little crazy chicken lady. That's how we roll. Look, they're just like, where's the candy? She's talking about candy and a bucket and and how the men, rescue the cats. Where's the fireman? Aw.
The one in
Anyhow.
the bowl is Moana.
Aw.
The other one is Rebecca. And in
Aw.
comes Junior.
Aw.
Sorry about the dog. Logan's home and he's probably just sitting in the van.
Oh. Awesome. Well, no big deal. I mean, sometimes Sir Grace's puppy comes up here and opens up the door, and in some really awkward moments too, and like, I'm just gonna check on you. Or I gotta respond to something. Oh, we do this thing, Sir Grace and I, and it's called Float. And it's a magnesium, like it's filled with salt water, and it's really good if
Uh-huh.
you've got joint problems. Um, and you just lay in this salty water. It's kind of, think Dead Sea. You can't drown, right? You just
Right.
literally float. And so Sir Grace's puppy went into the room and he had like a little pep with his step, you know?
Uh-huh.
When he came out this last time, he was like, "Hi, I'm just like in my chill phase." He doesn't even float. He he doesn't do anything. He just gets in there and he just sits on the floor. They put a nice little rug out for him, so he can lay down. He gets his own rug.
Uh-huh.
And so Sir Grace will do his float session. And I think there's something with the salts up in the air that they must be responding to it in a positive manner because he
Yeah.
comes out and he's like, "Hi." And I laugh every time I see it. "Hi, sweetie."
This is Momo.
I'm
Moana.
Aw, that's so sweet. Hi. She's waving. Hi. Look at her.
And
She's
she's saying
waving.
hi to your
She's
adoring
like,
fans.
"Say hello."
Say hi.
She's waving with her left paw.
She is
Aw.
so cute. She's no bigger than a minute or two.
Aw.
This one
That's
is 3 months old.
Oh my gosh. It's
And look,
flown. Oh,
she's just a
she's a
little
pretty
bitty
mark.
thing.
She's got pretty markings too.
Yes, she is.
Oh, no problem. No problem, Cynthia.
It was nice to have you here.
Yeah. Oh, those babies are getting so big.
Yeah. Oh, back to her bucket. Oh
Yep.
no, yeah, back to
Yeah.
her bucket.
Back to the bucket. Aw. But we've had a good week though. I'm so like we got, when you have family come into town and you got to get back to life. We've been crazy busy again, but it's been nice here. Has it been
Yeah.
hot where you're at? Because we're dealing with this torrential heat.
Oh, if you look at the map of the heat,
Yeah.
the Pacific Northwest is there's nothing,
Oh my gosh.
nothing. The rest of the country is like orange,
Yeah.
red.
Yeah. We
And we're
are.
just this nice little pocket of nothing. We remember here a few weeks ago, I told you guys that on May 31st, we were 104.
Yeah, I remember that.
And that's like almost unheard of for us to be that hot. And so we were shocked to be that hot that early. And we're like, oh my gosh, what is our summer going to be like? Well, now here just a few days ago, our daytime high was 68.
Wow.
And we were getting down into the low 40s overnight. It was so cold. Driving Logan to work, we were using the heater in the van. It was
Wow.
so cold. I'm going around wearing my sweater most of the day. It was so cold. And so we're like, okay, what is our summer going to be like? Now, way, way, way back when Ronson was, gosh, maybe somewhere between 8 and 10, we had a summer where and I was talking to my dad about this back when we had that 104. And we had a summer where we got excruciatingly hot really, really early. The rest of the summer, down here in the valley, even, was really cool.
Mm.
And my parents had gone camping over the 4th of July for my dad's birthday. And it was so freezing cold. They couldn't even come out of their camper. They were sitting in the camper
Mm,
running
mm, mm.
their little heater that they had in it, and they finally came home several days early because they were just miserable and they were starting to get sick from the cold. They came down in the valley and it wasn't a whole lot warmer down here. And so we're thinking that this summer is probably going to be something somewhat along the same lines. I guess Ronson's saying it's supposed to be
Yeah.
101 on
That's what I was gonna say.
Monday, but it's 83 right now in town.
Yeah, it's 91 here and it feels like 105, but we deal with the humidity. And
Hmm.
so this morning I went out and we were mowing and getting the yard done. It was time to do it. And I would say it was probably in the mid 80s by that point when I was out there working. I kept drinking water. I have two huge or had two huge glasses of water, the straws, the
Yeah.
and so I drank that and I literally thought I was gonna still pass out. Like,
Wow.
and I would say it would have been in the 80s about the time that I had done it, but that humidity is what is killing all of us. And so we are in another heat index. Um, they said today we got up to 94, but it felt a lot hotter than that. My poor chickens right now, we're having to take ice out there and run the
Yeah.
fans, and we have tubs with bricks in it. I'm trying to get the girls to like learn to stand in those, but
Right.
they don't like new things, so we'll have to give them some time. And then giving them frozen fruits. I have exhaust fans, but they still are just all like they're miserable. But they're 104 degrees internally temperature, and then they're wearing their down coats. So this is
Exactly.
the time that we are probably the most concerned about them. And so I think we have 2 or 3 more days of this extreme heat and then we go back into our normal range. But it really is it's the humidity that's getting us. Is that your real temperature or is that the feels like, Scott? Because that's crazy. 104. Wow. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. You go outside and you sweat and it's hard to describe the humidity too, because it makes things 10 times hotter if
By
that
this
humidity is
time,
high.
by this time we're usually hitting, ow, Junior. By this time we're usually hitting right up there
Yeah,
around 100.
yeah,
That's not unusual.
yeah,
But to be down around in the 60s, 70s, that's cool
yeah.
for
Well,
around here.
and it's dry there too, so it
Very
makes it
dry.
colder feeling.
I wouldn't agree. Well, maybe for you because you're used to humidity.
Yeah, because I'll tell you, being in Idaho, when it got into the 60s there, I felt like I needed a sweater. But here in the 60s, it's like, okay, I can wear sandals and shorts and stuff. I mean, it's a different kind of feeling. That humidity
It
really
is
plays a
different.
weird. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, so that's your feels like temperature. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we're about the same then, Scott. I mean, we're all burning up together. That feels like 104.
And
But the
here we
humidity,
are walking around with a sweater, and we haven't turned the AC on for days. I
wow.
mean, we might in the evening just to kind of stir the air for a little bit, but yeah,
Yeah.
we
We're
don't.
this we're the
Um,
same, Scott. 90 plus. Yep, we're the same.
um, and it can be totally different here at our house. We're 6, 7 miles from Ronson's place.
Mhm.
He's in town,
Yep.
and we're just out in the country a few miles. It can be absolutely, totally, 100% different. Um, he said it was 83 at his house. Is that what he said? Yeah. Right now at our house, it's 90 degrees, seven
It's that
degree
micro.
difference.
Yeah, it's a microclimate, these different pockets. Yeah. That happens with us too.
And let me open it up. Our
I'm so sorry to
humidity
hear
is
that, Troy.
19%.
Yeah, we're 80s and oh well here I'll find out because Scott is at 90%. I'm gonna find out what ours is. I'm thinking
Our humidity is 19%, dew point 43%, and our pressure is 29.9% and falling.
Wow. Let's see here. So, okay, as of right now, we're in the excess of heat. It's 95 degrees. Feels like 102. That's as of right now. It's not telling me the humidity, but the humidity is high. I can tell you that because I can feel it. I go outside and it's pretty bad. I'm hanging out in the cellar. Oh, Troy. His AC quit working on him. The house is 87
Oh
degrees
no.
and he's hanging out in the cellar.
Wow. Oh,
You need to
that's
stay
awful.
cool. You need to stay cool, dude. You've
Yes.
been through some things and you've got to stay cool. I'm glad you're at least in the cellar, but still, that's
Yeah,
drink lots
that's
of
scary.
water. Drink lots and lots of water. Stay hydrated. Electrolytes, too. Have some of those as well, because that's not good. Now AC goes out. Hopefully, you can get that fixed soon. See here.
Let's see.
I'm only
Oh,
at 53 humidity here.
my app says that we're only supposed to be 99 on Monday, 100 on Tuesday, and then we go back down.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, we're supposed to be getting thunderstorms. Hang on a minute. Yeah, it looks like we're going to be getting thunderstorms. Because, like right here, I'm looking out my window and all I see is the clouds. But if you stand up and you look out the window, you can see it a little bit better. Yeah, we drop in temperature. We go back down into the low 90s, but the humidity will change too for us. Once the storms run through, it kind of pushes that down a little bit. Mr. Jim's AC doesn't work. I know. I know. He's got to be miserable with where he's at. And there's your message, honey, I'm home. I think the dog let us know, Logan, but
Yeah,
beat
that
you to
and
it.
your radio playing or your music playing on your phone, I could hear that too.
Yeah. What's Breezy saying? It's so hot that I feel like our AC is freezing in here and it's set to 71 Fahrenheit. Yeah. We keep ours pretty close to the same, Breezy. We have 80 degrees with clouds and it's falling. So Glenda, you should get that the next few days. I'm just a state over from you. I hope so. Hey, I'll take it, Miss Linda. It's 18% humidity here. We usually don't get very humid until the wildfires. Oh, let me tell you, I don't miss Idaho's wildfires or the tumbleweeds going down the highway on fire either. This is supposed to break Thursday. Yeah, we are. Same here.
Well, that's
Yeah.
good. Just a
Yeah.
little bit longer.
I know. I actually had to water one of my raised garden beds, my poor basil. I'm like, ah, it's so hot.
I've almost lost all my garden. Almost everything is completely gone because we are okay. Irrigation water is turned on for the entire valley
Right.
around April 15th, April 18th. The park turns irrigation on according to the contract or the lease. They are supposed to have irrigation on May 15th. Well, gardens can start going in long before that, and the grass is growing long before that. They did not have the water turned on until May 17th or 18th this year. It was on for a few days and it was off for several days. They turned it back on for a few days and then it was off again for several days. They
Mm-mm-mm.
turned it back on and we had it for about a week and we haven't had water for 2, 3 weeks. If I want to water my garden, which I don't have a whole lot planted this year, but if I want to water my garden, I have to haul it from the house, from the kitchen, in my 2-gallon watering can. And it's hard for me to do.
Yeah,
It's
I
hard for
know.
me to carry that
Yeah.
water. That's heavy.
Yeah.
And some of my stuff is way out by the fence, and I can't carry as much water as I need
Right.
out there.
Right. That's
And
crazy. Well,
so
no.
I'm losing everything that I've planted, including flowers.
Wow. It only affected the raised garden bed where the basil's at. My tomatoes and cucumbers and muscamelons, everything's still going. I have not watered that garden because that's all in ground. If I get it up, get it established in the spring, I'm good until about August. And then I have to water the garden at that point on an average, I mean, like on a typical summer for us. But the basil just it's starting to look sad, and we're supposed to be getting well, I've got all the parts for the freeze dryer, so I'm like, please hang on, basil, because I'm gonna freeze dry you. Hey, I saw this comment, and oh my goodness, I can't imagine Deb being in that hospital and no AC,
We
and then having to
can't,
deal with the patients too.
yeah, we can't hook up under the house because it still has that leak that they never fixed properly. And if we use the hose under the house and something happens to it, they're going to come back on us and
Hmm.
say it's our fault.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with that one. And
Yeah.
then it's so hot that the Weather Channel is giving directions for cooking lasagna in the mailbox.
I heard about that.
I have not. That's pretty good. I'm sorry. I guess maybe I'm gonna have to go out there and give it a shot. We're gonna have lasagna for dinner tomorrow night, Sir Grace. Don't ask me how I cooked it, but I mean, I'm just saying, Oh, yeah. That's Scott, I was a cook in the hospital, so going into the cafe was a nice cool for me. Oh man. Um, yeah,
uh,
it's hot.
here, here, our annual precipitation in Caldwell, not the whole Treasure Valley, but Caldwell, is
Yeah.
10.6 inches.
Okay.
That's precipitation annually. So the chances of us getting enough water to keep our garden or our yard going for the summer,
Hmm.
um, yeah, it ain't happening.
Yeah, so for I'm gonna go off the city, so Louisville. Let's see here. Spring and summer months are characterized by changeable wet weather. March has the greatest total rainfall, which goes into follows up by April. That's why I can get my plants in the ground. If I get them in the ground, we're good. Yearly precipitation is 48 inches, and the driest month is in October. But we have gone through floods too in our area. We've seen the Ohio River rise to the point where homes were destroyed by the flooding in our area. So that's just our annual average. But I would put at least another foot on that one water wise for this year. And then October is our driest month.
Wow.
Hmm.
We stopped getting rain or moisture sometime in May, usually early May.
You've been
And
wow.
we don't get any real moisture again until sometime in October. So for most of May until sometime in October, there's no moisture.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember. It's
Yeah,
a different kind of weather. And I want to say you
it
guys have
is.
Bermuda grass too, correct? I know Arizona does, but I was trying to remember what kind of grass you guys have.
Um, a lot.
Which,
I think a lot of times they plant. They do a mix
mm,
of like. I think they use Kentucky blue. Um, and I think they mix some fescue in with it
okay,
and something else.
okay.
But
I was trying to
they
remember. I
they
was
do a
thinking like our
mix.
grass, our grass in the winter always look brown in Arizona or in Idaho.
Oh yeah.
So I was thinking it was the other one, but anyhow, not here. Okay. I was thinking it was Bermuda grass, but But our grass would die. I remember having to go out
Oh
there and
yeah.
water, and then living on a military base, you can't let your Kentucky blue children grass. Kentucky blue grass is what she meant, not children. Ronson said Kentucky blue chicken.
No, I didn't say chicken.
No. Um, but no, it's I remember being on base in Idaho and Arizona, but Idaho was worse. And if you let your grass die, you'd get in trouble. We had to water all the time. I remember just watering and watering and watering and watering and watering and watering. And then in the wintertime, it would turn brown. And I'm like, okay, well, I can't do anything about that. I'll water all the rest of the year, but just not in the winter. Orchid grass and alfalfa mix usually. No, I was just being funny. Oh, he was just being
Oh,
funny.
okay.
Yeah.
Don't mess with these worn out, tired old
I
brains.
know. Listen, I've had a long day. I went to the VA and it was a good appointment, but it was a long appointment. But it was good. It was good. He's a really good provider. So, yeah. It just took longer. So I'm a little tired. And I mowed the lawn. So I did that. But I saw you've been watering your gardens for a month and a half, Scott. I'm telling you, if the in-ground ones, I don't have to do it until August unless we have a horrible dried out period. But as long as I get the in-ground beds going, um, I don't know, I don't really water it. I don't have any irrigation out there. I just let nature do its horse. I got to get out in that garden. I have cucumbers ready to be picked. And I have cherry
Wow.
tomatoes ready. I ate my first cherry tomato the other day. Um, so I need to get out there and pick some veggies because we're now getting it. Oh, and then I have muscamelons and they're this big and they're getting close
Mm.
to the ripening part. And I'm going, ooh, bring on a muscamelon. And my Kajari plants, I grow Kajari melons. I need to go out there and get them up into the fence and let them grow up. Because Jari melons are about like this big. So they're like a
Mm.
little personal cantaloupe, but they're green like a honeydew. And they're
Uh-huh.
so good. So I'm going to have those this year. And my
Yum.
sunflowers are getting tall. So I need to get out there and put my green beans in the ground because I like to grow string or the ones that go up the pole beans. Duh. I like to grow pole beans on my sunflowers and let them go up the stalks. Use it as a natural cane. So I need to get out there and go on because my sunflowers are getting real tall now. So I'm excited about that.
I looked
So
up what kind of grass is in most yards in Idaho. It says in Idaho, most home lawns are composed of Kentucky bluegrass,
okay.
perennial ryegrass, tall fescue, fine fescue, or a combination of the four.
Hmm. So that's what
So
you guys
that is
grow.
what our yards are made up of.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I was right on the Kentucky bluegrass.
Which is pretty because I mean we have the Kentucky bluegrass here too. It's nice. And we have fescue as well. Oh, you know what, Scott? I think you're wise with the raised beds because I have a raised bed. I have a couple
That's
of
what
them
I
and I
have.
love them.
Me
Yeah, I love
too.
mine.
Now
But I also have the in-ground.
I have the self-watering raised beds that we put together ourselves, and I tell you, when we have irrigation water and we can actually fill them, they are a humongous time saver, and you have the most gorgeous, beautiful, healthy plants
Hmm.
because they water themselves as they need them.
Hmm. Hmm. You have
It,
is your watering system underneath? Like there's like a gap
yeah,
and it you put the garden hose on the thing and then just fill that up so it gets down to the bottom.
yeah,
Yeah.
it forms a
Yeah.
reservoir. It's just like a
Yeah.
normal, natural.
Yeah. I have those too. I have
Yeah,
two
well,
of them. Hmm.
we built them ourselves, so we
Oh,
put
okay.
it's not a kit. We put them
Right.
together ourselves, but you have your aquifer at the bottom,
Hmm.
and then you have We did ours kind of combining um, hoggle culture
Yep.
in with it. So you
Yep.
have your reservoir, your
Yep.
aquifer, and then you have your culture, and then you have your soil, your growing medium on top.
Yeah.
And so it's incredibly efficient.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the plants are healthy, they're happy,
Yep.
uh, they grow so well.
Yep.
And we built them to the height that was convenient for me.
That's smart.
Yeah.
That's super smart. I mean, we're not getting any younger around here, so you got to do it where you save on your
Yeah.
back. Yeah, no, I agree with you, and I love the hugel culture method. That's what I do with my raised beds as well.
Yeah.
It really makes a difference with the nutrients breaking down and all the microbiomes and all that good stuff. I also, with mine, I put compost bins in the middle of mine. And
Yeah.
so that leaches out those nutrients too. Now, these are my regular raised beds that sit on the dirt, but I have the self-watering too. I have two of those, and I
Uh-huh.
bought those, gosh, maybe 12 years ago, 13 years ago. I still have them. I bought them at Sam's Club. They're two raised beds, and mine, you just put the garden hose down in there. Now, my strawberries are in there, and I don't think my strawberries are doing as good as I think they should in them.
Uh-huh.
So I'm actually going to go ahead and put them down into our soil. I use woven ground cover for my raised beds because, quite frankly, I don't have time to go out and deal with weeds. So
Yeah.
I'll just take a strip and burn it out. And then I'll put like all my strawberry plants in there and then put the straw around them and let them get into our soil and let them take off. A friend of mine put hers in the ground, and oh my gosh, her strawberries tasted so good
Uh-huh.
and they were prolific. So that's what I think I'm going to do. But I do like the raised beds a lot. I use mainly my big ones I use kind of for the herbs and I use it for garlic. Oh, I didn't share this. So what was it? About 2 weeks ago, I harvested 150 bulbs of garlic.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot.
Yep. So they are right now in our shed. Um, drying out, doing the curing process. They need to
Hmm.
be there until all of the green is gone. And this is my seventh season from the that I've harvested from the original garlic
Come here, baby
bulbs.
girl.
And so I'm super excited because once they're all cured and ready to go, I'm going to give some away.
Uh-huh.
I've had some requests because people in the local area because they want to grow garlic themselves, so I'm going to give some away for them, and the
Uh-huh.
rest I'm going to freeze dry. It makes the best garlic powder I have ever
Ooh.
tasted. It's not like having dehydrated garlic powder. It tastes fresh, but it's powder. It tastes like you're
Right.
because you're using a freezing process, not the heat. And yeah, so we harvested 150 of them. I'm like, oh, what we laugh about is when Sir Grace's sister was here. I said, well, we're keeping the vampires out of the shed because you walk by and you just smell that strong, pungent garlic smell. And I've got the window cracked so there's some air circulation.
Uh-huh.
Um, but yeah, my brother is falling apart. Um, I know how to help you, Scott. I know how to help you. I'm just like I tell Sir Grace, I got you, bro. I got you. Everybody, if you want to make some good money, I'm going to tell you what to invest in. Invest in bubble wrap because I'm going to go buy Scott some bubble wrap and I'm going to let Debbie bubble wrap him all up. And he's going to walk out with Sir Grace, both of them, like, the kid from A Christmas Story in that suit, that pink suit. That's that is what Scott's going to be going around with his bubble wrap on. So, just saying, we got you. And duct tape will cure it. No, on a funny story, Sir Grace was talking to his primary care today about you and about the cruise. And she was a little mortified because Sir Grace popped up and he goes, guess what they got on the cruise? They have a race car track, the go-karts. And he was dead serious. He said, I'm gonna drive it with my friend Scott. And her eyes got really big, and I'm like, yeah, Jesus, take the wheel. And she looked over at me. She goes, is he serious? And I'm like, yeah, I think he might be. I said, Scott's wife and I are gonna have to get a stiff drink before the guys even think about going there because I'm a little concerned. Scott shouldn't be driving with his back and Sir Grace, he can't see and part of it goes off the ship. And she went, it goes off the ship. And I'm like, yeah, it goes off the ship. And I'm like, yeah, it'll be Jesus take the wheel as I go ping. She goes, I hope you video it and bring it back to me. And I said, yep, I sure will.
That's funny.
So yep. So Scott, you were talked about today at a doctor's appointment.
That's why your ears were burning.
I think so. And I'm waiting for Sir Grace to pop in and chime in on his comments because it was pretty funny. Watching his primary care with her eyes bug out. You're going to let Sir Grace drive that thing? She was like, I don't know. And then I told her about you, Scott, and that made it even more interesting. I think she was curious and she was concerned about you two guys. Oh, you lost power. Hit rewind, Scott. Hit rewind. You'll know what I just said about you. Hit rewind. Oh,
This is
hey,
finally
I'm so
found it.
glad you.
That is my raised beds.
Hang on. Oh,
Those are self-watering.
nice. Nice.
Yeah, and you can see the PVC sticking up on the on the side in the back.
Yep. And did you
And
put
that's
woven ground fabric down too? That's what that looks like underneath of it.
it's black plastic on the bottom, but they're also lined with a heavy black plastic to hold
Nice.
the water in. You can also use
Nice.
like a pool liner, any thick black plastic,
Mhm.
um, or PVC or whatever, any thick plastic liner to line your bed with. And you can either use gravel or just sand or dirt or whatever to fill in the bottom
Mhm.
to form your reservoir,
Mhm.
um, or your aquifer for holding the water before you do what we chose to do was to do hugelkultur and then add your growing medium on top.
Yeah.
But I can't remember. I think we did 18-inch tall beds.
Mhm.
Um, but I have 5 of those,
Nice.
and they're 4x4. So
Nice. I
anyway,
have I have two Vita gardens. It's VITA, Vita gardens, and they're connected together. It's too big. So I'm going to actually take it apart this fall and separate them. And then I have a 30 by 40 garden that
you
I
helped a
came
lot,
around.
Ronson.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. I saw that. And then I just want to, real quick, Bushcraft family snuck in the house.
Hey,
Hey.
Charles.
But yeah, so we have, and then I have two metal raised beds that I bought. One is by the chickens, and that's got all the herbs and stuff in there. And then I'm growing marshmallow in the other one, and then some of the micro tomato plants. I have orange hat tomatoes, and the plant is literally that's as big as they're going to get, and they are
Catching
prolific.
minis.
I'm sorry.
kitchen minis.
Yeah, you can grow them in your kitchen window. My
Yeah.
goal this year with those, I'm going to eat some of them, but I want to save the seeds of them because I didn't have enough to grow in the house. But it's great to grow in the house during the winter time in the hydroponic systems. So my thing is to beef the seeds up because the last time I bought seeds from Baker Creek, it was $5 a packet, and you only got like a few.
10 or
So
15.
yeah, yeah. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna beef it up and try to share, like save back so I have some. And then
Yeah.
he must have hit the rewind. You got talked about today. So anyhow, well, I'm gonna have to scooch off of here. I do want to go get those cucumbers before the rain comes, and it's getting dark out there. So
Yeah. Okay. Well, we've been on here for 2 hours. So I have thoroughly enjoyed our talk as usual. It's been all over the place.
it has.
And you never know about us. You never know. Now, next week is the first.
Let me look at the calendar again. I'm thinking next week I will be off.
Yes. So
Yes.
um,
Yes.
it will
Next
be
week.
me and a
Hmm.
special guest yet to be determined.
Yes.
And so we are going to have a good time. You never know what I might come up with. Honest. My wheels have been turning for a few weeks what I want to do for next week. So,
Uh,
anyway, you don't want to miss. Just
no,
just because Glenda isn't going to be with us does not mean you want to miss
that's right. Please come
because
over. Everybody, please come over and support Miss Karma. Sir Grace and I are going to take a little time to enjoy each other's company. And so I am going to be missing but please, 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 please come over. And if I get internet connection, then I'll be in the live myself. So if I can get connection, we'll see. No guarantees. But yes, please do. Please come over because Karma, I love our Talk About It Tuesdays. They're so much fun. So
they are. I look forward to them every week, and the interaction with chat is
yeah.
a lot of fun. And you guys share it out. The more we
Yes,
have in
please.
chat, it just livens up the conversation, and so just
Yes.
bring your friends, bring
Yeah.
your tacos. Not
Yeah.
required, but
No, no,
let's
no.
just the more the merrier.
That's right.
And
That's
so
right.
next week,
Mhm.
come find out who my special co-host will be.
Yes.
It's going to be fun. You
Yes.
never know.
Yeah. And then
So
now Thursday, you are going to have your thoughts for Thursday.
I am. I am. I'm going to do the recording tomorrow, hopefully, or maybe tonight. I don't know. I will get the
Awesome.
recording done, though, and I will have
Awesome.
it.
Awesome. And then Saturday, I will be live for the Lazy Saturday Night Chat. So come on back
Fun.
at 4:45 Eastern Standard Time. I'd love to have y'all back. And then
And
on,
if you think that Glenda can talk on Tuesdays, just wait for
um,
Saturday. She can really talk.
I'm a motor mouth. Um, and you never know. And I do a lot of drop-ins lives with the girls, and I really enjoy the drop-ins, the pop-up lives. So kind of be looking for that because sometimes I come live from the chicken run and you're hanging out with the hens of Grace and Fire. And
It's fun.
it really is. And I have had some really good conversations with people asking all of their chicken questions or wanting some thoughts on it, especially in the summer heats. So if you catch a pop-up live, come on in and ask your chicken questions. I'm not a expert in all things chickens, but I'm an expert with my flock, and I've had chickens for 5 years.
Do you
So
know what
I've
an
learned a lot.
expert is?
Mm,
You don't know what an expert is? It's a drip
no.
under pressure.
As a what?
Drip under pressure.
Oh, a drip under pressure. Okay. 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 Well, I always say I'm not an expert in all things chickens, but I'm an expert on girls. I'm a grip under
Sorry.
pressure with my girls. But I'll tell you, they've been really good conversations. I've had some really good questions, and have helped out people. So I enjoy those pop-up lives. So I've been doing those lately. But we will be here on Monday for Meet Me Monday. And I'm really excited about Meet Me Monday.
Me too. I am so excited. You guys,
Yes.
you're going to have fun with Meet Me Monday if you choose to come and hang out with us. Bring
Yes.
your questions. Questions are
Yes.
always saved for the end because if you listen to the interviews, a lot of your questions will be answered during the interview. But I have the beautiful Anne Lynn show.
Yes.
And it is the Anne Lynn because there are two hosts, just like
Mhm.
here. It is Glenda's mom
My
and
mom
her
is
aunt.
Anne. My mom is Anne. So if you guys are, we please come back because my mom is Anne and Lynn is my real life Anne. They're really sisters, real life sisters. They don't look like each other. If it's kind of funny, one looks more like my grandmother, the other one looks more like my grandfather. To be honest with you.
If you see them together enough, you can see the resemblance.
Kind of. I think that one looks more like my grandmother, and well, I get to see my grandmother, so I know what she looks like, and I knew what my grandfather looked like. But they're real life sisters, and their height difference is completely opposite of each other. But if you, go, I mean, seriously, you guys go watch Meet Me Monday, and if you guys can remember, ask my mother how many Jesus figurines she has found and ask her if she actually listened to her clues in one of her lives because I dropped a riddle for her to find a Jesus and I don't think she paid attention. That Jesus is still there. So somebody needs to remind my mother, go back to one of your lives and listen, did you listen to Glenda's riddle? Because she told you exactly where Jesus is at for one of them. There were 50 Jesuses hidden all over her house back in March. She has
And how
not found
many
them
has she
all.
found?
She's in the 40s now. I want to say like 43-ish.
Oh, so she's getting close.
She's getting close, but I gave her a clue for one of them, and I want somebody to ask her if she paid attention to the riddle.
Okay. All
Even
right.
Scott figured it out. See, there, speaking up, just as I say it, there it is right there. I know where it is. And he just listened to the riddle and he got it and he told me, and I said, yeah, you're right. It's there. Scott, don't tell my mom the answer to that riddle. She needs to go back and find it. It's a task that she does. She said she felt dirty, is what she did. She said, I can't believe it. She said, I clean my house all the time. I feel dirty. I said, you shouldn't feel dirty. It's not that kind of a task, but it's a task that you do. And I dropped the riddle and it gave the clue. And so ask her about Jesus and her ducks. That's I'm giving you all questions for Meet Me Monday. Ask about Jesus and the ducks and the riddle. Yep, yep. And then Tuesday, please come back for Talk About It Tuesday with the beautiful Karma. I'm going to miss being here. But it is 4th of July weekend, so I wish everybody happy Independence Week. Um, take time and enjoy it. 249, or yeah, 249 years old is how old our country will be. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. Next year is going to be the big 250.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So enjoy next week, and I'll be back in 2 weeks for Talk
All
About It
right.
Tuesday. So, you guys have a great day. This has been so much fun,
It
Karma.
has.
Thank you to
Has.
everybody for being here, and we'll see you guys next time.
Yep. We'll see you next time. Thank you for being here. Share it out.
Yes,
And be sure
please
to
do.
hit the thumbs up
Yep.
and drop a comment.
Yes. Yeah. We like reading the comments even
We
afterwards. So leave
do.
us a comment. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.